And as you can see, immediately when I created a file with nothing inside, with no content, it says that your test suite must at least contain one test. So to make this like a bogus thing as of now, let me just remove that particular error by having an empty test inside. So that will make sure that it runs correctly. If you do not want this to run always, you can simply close this if you want, because it's now watching it. All right. So all you have to do is just press Ctrl C. I am going to use this component as just an input functionality and then start testing some elements inside. Okay. So I'll import, I'll just have a functional component here. Oh, no, I have to have a class-based component because I'm having a state inside. So RACC or RCE, yeah, RCE, fine. So I have to delete this one. And then I'm going to have the state method. It just has the text here, not test, it's text. And then it contains a input of type text. And then it contains the name of text. Why am I typing test? And value should be this dot state dot text. All right. So this is done. I also need to have an on change functionality, which is nothing but handle change. All right. And then it should be not just handle change, it should be just dot handle change. Let me create some handle change event. It should be an arrow function even. Otherwise, I need to have the ugly bind syntax. And then this dot set state of event. So it should be text of event dot target dot value. Okay, that's it. So yeah, I'm going to just import this component inside my app.js to show that it works when I'm running the server. That's why. Today, running the server won't be a bigger thing. It's all about testing. But yeah, once let's just do it for the namesake. I'll have a hello world as well as the search component. Okay, fine. So let me start up the server, which would be yarn run yarn start. Yeah, yarn start. So it would open up a new browser having the output rendered. So let's wait for that. Okay, fine. So it has been rendered. Now the thing is, I want to make sure that I have this particular function of the search handler getting rendered. So how would you do that? Well, you have to do the same thing what you have done before. You have to just import React from React. All right. Now, let me take this as an opportunity to discuss the various availabilities of finding an element, because that is something you have to learn a lot, right? So let me give you three types of finding, not just one, but three types of finding. One is get by, another one is query by, another one is find by. It seems that all three things are looking like the same, but they do have differences between themselves. Well, get by will give you an error if it didn't find that element. Right? If you are expecting some element to be found using the get by method, you will get an error if it doesn't exist. Whereas in query by, it will try to give you the null value if it didn't exist. There is a difference between giving a null value and giving an error. Because if it gives an error, then it means that automatically the test has failed. But if it is giving a null value, then you can continue the test by having more assertions. All right. Find by is something we'll have a pause for now. I'll come back and explain what it is. So what I'll do is I'll just have a look regarding the elements here, first of all. And let me import the necessary things from React testing library as well. React testing library. And then let me import two methods. One is render and another one is screen. I'll tell you what the screen allows us to do. Basically, screen will help you to see what your content is actually in your terminal itself. I'll show you. So the first test would be to just render the search component. Great. Okay. So as I told you, I am going to have different examples of get by, query by, and find by. Okay. So we do have a lot of options for each of these particular query handlers itself. One good example would be visiting the cheat sheet. Let me show you. I already have downloaded the cheat sheet, so let me open up that real quick because the list is quite extensive. That's why. So yeah. So the search types are nothing but these guys. All right. We can either search by a role, which is nothing but having a role attribute. We can either search by a label text, which is nothing but a label element. We can either search by this name here, which is element. We can also search by the ability of placeholder, which is having the attribute of placeholder. We can also search by the ability of text, which is just what we have seen here. The cheat sheet is available in the website itself, Atanu. You can literally come here and print that. You can get by text, that is what we have done here. The ability to check for this particular text, that is exactly what we have done at the beginning. We can either select for display value, which is nothing but by checking the value property. So as you can see, the list is very extensive. It allows us to watch for every nook and corner. That is what this particular thing allows us, right? It also allows us to check for all text. It also allows us to check for title. Title is nothing but having the ability to, have you ever seen that if you hover onto an element for too long, you will have some information above that cursor, like a small rectangular element. So that is called as title. The ability to show that particular small box is what the title allows us to do. So if you want to search by title, you can do that as well. Or by at the last, if you want to search by a test ID, this helps a lot actually. If you do not want to check by all these guys and instead want to have a custom attribute called test ID, you can put data hyphen. You can have custom attributes by having data hyphen and then test ID. If you want to check by the test ID, it's up to you as well. So as you can see, it is super extensive on the search types. Now coming back to the particular search variants, this is what I was talking about. Get by is example of getting a single element. Get by, query by, and find by. These are all single element searching. Get all by, query all by, find all by are all multiple searching elements. Okay, just like query selector and query selector all. Get by will give you an element or an error. That is exactly what I told you. But whereas query by will try to give you the element or null. So it is completely up to you. If you want to check only the element's existence and then throw an error, you can use get by. Or if you want to check for an element's in existence, that is the nullable value, you can use query by. All right. Find by is something we will try to see a bit later, all right? Because it deals with asynchronous code. So I have to pause for a minute, explain all these stuff, and then come back here. Okay. We'll have like a smooth transition between the topics. So yeah, let me continue here. I'll go to search.text.js and start dwelling between these values, all right? So what I'll do is I will just have get by alt text or get by label text or get by placeholder text or get by role, anything, all right? So let's just put get by role and then have a empty string here, all right? And then now what I'll do is I will just make sure that I use the just command in the another window by saying npm run test. I should not have npm run. Instead, I have to have yarn because I have yarn.block. That's why it sucks. All right. Now, as you can see, we have an error called container.querySelector is not a function. That's because we didn't even render anything. So that is the reason.